My shoe.
I beg you.
Everyone knows there's probably nothing in the shoe they said that I have not done. But this one.
You are listening to Jambo Radio Scotland, online and on your smart speakers. You can download the Jambo Radio app on Google Play and App Store. Now, it's time for your weekly sports show, The Sports Engine.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another beautiful edition of Sports Engine. My name remains Ladi Egbedre. Don't forget, tonight a big game is lined up out there in Cote d'Ivoire. Talking about the semi-final of the 2023 AFCON. A game that some people have dubbed a grudge match. But I've been on the phone with some couple of friends out there in Pretoria and Johannesburg, and they've assured me that some Nigerians are even going to watch the game in the midst of their South African friends. So you don't need to worry about your family and loved ones out there in South Africa, wherever they might be. There is no need for worry. They know that this is just football, and there is nothing to worry concerning stuff like xenophobia or any kind of attack that some people have been talking about in the past couple of days. So with that, I'm bidding you welcome to Sports Engine, the AFCON special. Semi-final game lined up for tonight. Nigeria going up against South Africa. And the second game is going to be the game between host nation, Cote d'Ivoire, and DR Congo. Joining me on the show this beautiful Wednesday afternoon is the one I like to call Zemolini, Enifemi Afolabi. Welcome on board. Zemo, I from the look of things, I don't think this audio is working very well today. I don't know if you can hear me. Enifemi Afolabi, how are you doing, my brother? Enifemi, I can't hear you. I don't know what is happening today, but the audio seems to be in a very, very terrible state. Can you hear me? Hello? I don't know if the guy behind the scene can just probably play a commercial or something so that we can resolve this audio issue that is affecting our transmission this afternoon. Enifemi, can you hear me? Well, looks like I'm on my own this afternoon. Well, you're not responding to me. I can't hear you. Yeah. I was just talking about the makeup of the game between Nigeria and South Africa today, and the fact that a lot of people have dubbed it a grudge match because of the rivalry that exists between Nigeria and South Africa. But some Nigerians out there in South Africa have allayed their fears and said that, look, there is no rivalry when it comes, that there is nothing like.
I'm surprised you can hear me.
Yeah. Can you resign back in? He can't hear me. Can you resign in and probably come back in again?
Hello, I can hear you.
Well, I can't see you, Mr. Dr. Patola. I can't see you, even though you can hear
How
me.
come? How come?
And that is what I don't know. You see, everything is just amazing this afternoon. Everything looks amazing. Now I can see you.
I'm seeing
Now I can see you.
Yeah.
Now I can see you. Yeah, I was just talking about issue of security and some people talking about what might happen, after the game. Should perhaps the Super Eagles go on to triumph against the South Africans today? And a lot of people are worried. But I've been on the phone with some South Nigerians out there in Pretoria and Johannesburg, and they've allayed their fears that there's really nothing to worry about. that they know that it's a
Yeah,
game of football and there is nothing concerning xenophobia with football. It's just a friendly
yes,
game,
the truth.
even though it's a very important game, it's a crucial game, but they don't see anything happening when you talk
Well,
about attack or whatever like that.
the truth of the matter is that people need to celebrate moderately. Um, football is you remember Bill Shankly, the manager of England, when they won the World Cup in 1966. Some years later, he was asked, and they went to him, and they said, "Look, Bill, is it true what we heard? They say football is a matter of life and death. They say football is war." He said, Bill Shankly replied, "No, no, no. Who says so? Why will anybody say something like that? It's much, much more than that. It's much, much more than that." You know. So you can imagine. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, Nigeria, South Africa on the field, but Nigeria, South Africa is being played on the political landscape as well. So
No
it's
doubt,
not
no doubt.
football alone, it's politics, it's economics, it's the people, it's everything. So people need to celebrate moderately. Whichever side they goes on to win, they should celebrate. They have the right to celebrate, but they should make it moderate. Because football is very, very painful. Football is an emotional game, very
No
sentimental.
doubt.
It involves feelings. So at that point in time, you cannot deride people without having a reaction. I mean, reaction comes from action. And there's also action after reaction as well. So one has to be very careful. The stakes are very, very high right now. Trust me, football has gone beyond what is played on the field. 22 men running after a round later game and all. Even look at the referees now. Look at how sophisticated referees have become. Gadgets here, gadgets there. Technology. Look, VAR. A game might be getting played in Pretoria, while the VAR is in London. You understand? That is how sophisticated the game is now. A lot is at
Now,
stake.
let,
So
let us move on to today's round of matches, talking about the semi-final game, the one that's scheduled for 5 o'clock UK time and 6 o'clock Nigerian time. Nigeria going up against South Africa. We've seen this scenario play out times without number. I think this is going to be the 15th or 16th time both nations are meeting internationally. Now let's look at the rivalry. Talking about approach to today's game, what kind of approach do you think Jose Pizarro should take? Should he probably tinkle the squad or maintain that winning squad that has been giving him results up to this moment? Wale?
well, I can tell you for free that
Can you guys
Pesero
hear
has
me
already
now?
made one change. I can
Go
tell you
ahead,
for
I'm
free
listening to
that
you.
Pesero has already made one change. Zaidu Sanusi is on the bench now, while his place has been taken by Bright Osai Samuel. So definitely we are looking at Bright Osai Samuel playing at right fullback, while Olaino moves to left fullback. I think it's a needed change at this point in time. Zaidu Sanusi has been largely disappointing in this tournament. Right from the very first game against Equatorial Guinea, where he had about three glaring chances, one to score by himself, two to get connected to others, and he fluffed it. He has never really been himself. He's never really bounced back into reckoning. You know, on the defensive side, he's a fantastic player. He's no doubt about it. He's doing great. But on the offensive, oh no, he's a no-no. He's a big disappointment. And that is what football is about these days, wing backs. Gone are those days that they call them full backs. They now call them wing backs. Attacking defenders. Defenders with panache. And particularly the style that Pesero is playing at the moment. The Super Eagles need all their arsenal. They need to get it right. If they intend to play in the final and they are playing against a formidable opponent, they cannot allow anything slip. So perhaps it might just be a good decision by the coach to bench Zaidu Sanusi and replace him with another player.
Now, considering the fact that the South African team is made up of mostly home-based players, majority of them from Mamelodi Sundowns, do you think that might have an impact in today's game in terms of the unity and the synergy between that squad? What kind of impact do you think that will have on today's game?
Yes, it looks like they have the edge because in terms of cohesion and all understanding, telepathy, and all that because most of the squad, week in, week out, they train day in, day out, and all. But you see, this particular squad also of the Super Eagles, they've been together for a while. Look at the last two editions of the Africa Cup of Nations. Most of the players that are playing right now were in the squad way back 2019 through Stekong, Kenneth Omeru, Olaino, Alexandra Iwobi, even Victor Osimhen was a part of that squad as well. A lot of them were in the team. And then the last Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon, Moses Simon, and a host of others as well, So, yes, Franco Yeka, So it's not like it's the first time this team is playing together, no. Chukwueze and co. So in terms of longevity, yeah, I think both teams have got it. So I think it's the team that takes their chances on the field that will win the game. The Super Eagles have been creating a lot, but their conversion rate has been very, very low. What has carried the team's toss so far is their good defense. They've been tested. It's not that they've not been tested, but they've not been able to. Nobody's been able to bridge them except the first game where Equatorial Guinea, scored a fantastic goal. And of course, you want to look at it that there was some defensive slip up by the team. So I think in terms of defense, they have the best defensive record in this tournament. Considered only one goal, all through. And kudos to all the defenders. But then football is a team game. So there are moments whereby the strikers also track back to help the defenders as well. So, it's just that this time around, if the strikers need to do more. I think it was just a game that the Super Eagles won by 2-0, and that was against Cameroon. The second goal coming very, very late into the game. Others, they've been scoring only one goal. But today, I think they need more than that. Although the South Africa very much. The last game they could as well have been eliminated. They had to rely on the luck of the penalties, to defeat a very, very brave Cape Verde, a very, very brave and determined Cape Verde. But you want to say that the Cape Verdeans are not as experienced as the Super Eagles. So this is where perhaps the Super Eagles have got an edge. If they are able to give the same vibrancy that we saw the Cape Verdeans offer on that day, coupled with their experience and exposure, then the South Africans might just be in trouble. It might just be a repeat of what happened to South Africa in the first game against Mali.
But now let's look at the makeup of that Super Eagles. No. Let's still stay with the South Africans. There's this South African player. Which one of them stands out for you, apart from the goalkeeper? I'm talking about William now. Apart from the goalkeeper, there's this Pau.
There's Percy Tau.
Yeah, Percy Tau. Yeah. He scored a fantastic goal against Nigeria in 2017. Talking about the game that was lost by 2-0 in Uyo, one of the few times that South Africans have been able to defeat the Super Eagles. Now the Super Eagles have been dominant. They are yet to win a game against the Super Eagles in AFCON tournaments. Do you think this is the year for them to break that dog, or do you think probably the jinx will go on and on? Wale, wow, I just lost Wale yet again. Hello, Wale, can you hear me? Well, looks like Wale is not with me right now. So probably I just need to go ahead and just let's talk about this now. Now let's look at some of the game changers that we are going to see in tonight's game. Don't forget the Super Eagles. They are one of the teams that some people term as favorites to win this championship. But if you look at the South Africans and the fact that they've been able to knock out, a team that went all the way to the semi-final of the World Cup, talking about the Atlas Lions, pushovers, and the fact that they were also able to overcome the Cape Verdeans, who put up a very stiff challenge. I know that this game is not going to... But if you look at the history of this game, of this championship, South Africa against Nigeria. Nigeria has been dominant, and a lot of football pundits and football ex-internationals have really expressed their view, and they've really thrown their weight behind the Super Eagles to go all the way and get the job done tonight. Now, Enifemi, Are you part of that school of thought that feels that the Super Eagles are just good enough, they're experienced enough, and they have enough in their arsenal to qualify for the final tonight? Well, you can go ahead, please.
Yes. As I was saying before, the network played the first one. Mukwena, fantastic player, rock solid midfielder. Packs ferocious shots in his boots, and we have to watch it. Because he's one player on his day. Can single-handedly wreck a ship. The Moroccans will tell you stories like that.
No
But then
doubt about that,
Pesitao,
Ladi. I think everybody
yeah.
everybody knows. If you look at
Pesitao, is a fantastic playmaker. He's done it everywhere in Europe. He's done it for Al Ahly of Egypt. A player who is very familiar with the African game. Of course, he's an African, but a mix of Europe and Africa because he's played out there in Europe and now he's back home. And everybody knows his antecedents. And like you said, he scored a fantastic goal against Nigeria in 2017. So he's a man to watch out for. But then they have a good goalkeeper, a very, very brilliant goalkeeper that has kept them in the tournament till now. Look at what happened against Cape Verde. That was the first time I was seeing a goalkeeper making straight saves or four straight saves in a penalty shootout. You know,
Four straight is unprecedented.
Exactly, in a penalty shootout. And then he made fantastic saves all through the game. The Cape Verdeans could have, with another goalkeeper, the Cape Verdeans could have taken the game because they really put in a lot of shifts. And that's not just the game. I mean, all through the tournament, he's been fantastic. He's going neck and neck with with our own Sterling Wambali, as regards, who's going to be the goalkeeper of the tournament. So it's a dicey one. It's a dicey one, But then a single goal or two will definitely decide the game.
Now, Anifemi, Osimhen has been suffering goal drought at this championship. What do you think should be done? Do you think probably it needs to be played, it needs more support up front? Because in my own opinion, I feel the wing backs are not giving enough aerial ball, because I know it's very potent in the air. So it needs to get more service. Or what's your opinion?
Four saves. Mm-hmm.
Well, you can go ahead, please.
No, I think he has been wasteful. Or well, to be fair on him, he has worked really, really hard. He has worked really, really, really hard. And he has contributed a lot. If you want to look at all the goals that Nigeria has scored, I think it's only maybe one or two that he had no hand in it. And then that was the second goal against Cameroon, which was a beauty, a combination of Calvin Bassey, the goal scorer, and Alex Iwobi. And
Yeah, but he's been playing really well so far.
yes, he's
Yeah.
been playing really, really well, And then the goal against Guinea-Bissau that was deflected in by the defender. It was a great work by Moses Simon. And if the cross had gone through, if the defender had missed it, definitely Osimhen would have rifled home the ball. Other than that, apart from the goal he scored against Equatorial Guinea, you want to say that he has not really been clinical enough, in front of goal because he has really, really missed a lot of scoring chances. But you want to understand the kind of weight that is on his shoulders. He's the current African Footballer of the Year. There's so much pressure on him to live up to expectation. Ordinarily, Victor Osimhen alone is pressure. Italian league winner with AS Napoli. People, I mean, Napolitans and people comparing him with Diego Armando Maradona, saying that after Diego Armando certainly won the Italian Calcio for Napoli, Osimhen has replicated the same feat by single-handedly, winning the Italian league for Napoli. And that alone is pressure. But coming into the African Cup of Nations and being crowned as African Footballer of the Year on the eve, that's another pressure. In fact, triple pressure. So you just don't want to be in his shoes right now. I think it's even because he's a fantastic player on his own with tremendous abilities. That's why he's not been able to crumble. Because if he's not scoring, he's contributing. And that's what we have seen so far in this tournament. About 3 assists already. Look at the assist for the first goal against Cameroon. That was a beauty. He stole the ball from a class defender from a big African nation. So he's a massive striker. And then look at the penalty he won against the host Cote d'Ivoire. He's proven to be a big game striker. a big day striker, and that's what the Super Eagles need, particularly in a game like this, in the semi-finals against South Africa, and whoever will be the opponent in the final. So I think a Victor Osimhen that is contributing, even though not scoring, is 100% an asset to the Super Eagles.
Now, apart from Osimhen, let's look at the what's it called? The kind of input coming from the other players. Apart from Osimhen, which other player do you think really stand out for the Super Eagles and for the South Africans? We've talked about Percy Tau some couple of minutes ago. What about
Without a
Mokwena? I know
doubt, you have to.
Mokwena is one guy that likes to take that, he always like to hit it very from long range. I think the Super Eagles should actually watch out for that brother.
Without a doubt, you want to look at the rave of the moment for Nigeria, the Atlanta FC striker who has been banging in the goals for Nigeria. Remind me of his name again.
Lookman.
Lookman.
Lukman.
Yeah, Lookman. Yes, who used to play for the English under 20 team. You need to Ademola Lookman. You see, initially, his switch from England to Nigeria was looking like a dead rubber, because he didn't hit the ball, he didn't hit the ground running.
That's
Uh,
right.
you want to look at him making the switch on time for the World Cup qualifiers for the Qatar 2022 World Cup. But when he played against Ghana, home and away, he was largely unconvincing. Aside from the fact that he won Nigeria a penalty in the second leg in Abuja, that was, of course, converted by the captain. But as it is now, he is now fully adapted to the African game. I think what he suffered from initially was football, difference in football culture. Of course, we all know that. In Europe, they will give you the space, they will give you the time on the ball, they will allow you to express yourself. But in Africa, is what we call jam body football. They're not send you. Here is force. Here is
It's man
energy,
marking. Stay close
man
to him. Don't
marking.
give him space.
Exactly. They're going to push you off the ball. They're going to run you ragged. They're going to force you. I mean, look, a lot of fouls that the referees will not even see. You understand? And before you know it, you'll be frustrated out of the game. That is how rugged the African football is. I think now he's fully adapted to it. He has been able to combine the finesse of the European game with the ruggedity of the African game. So now we are looking at a complete striker. When Osimhen is not doing the job, Ademola Lookman is doing the finishing. And then we cannot forget Moses Simon, who is energetic. Look, for his age, I'm surprised at the way he's still running, because even Moses Simon is not a small boy in the game. It's just a few years, difference between him and Ahmed Musa, and they grew up together, by the way, in northern Nigeria. So those three up front is big problem for any opponent. A team that is not allowing say anywhere near the starting lineup. A team that has not yet given even 1 second to Terry Murphy. A team that has not given 1 second to Iheanacho. A team that is yet to feature Ahmed Musa. Then you begin to wonder how. Look, nobody can describe to you anymore how strong, how potent that attacking lineup is. So that is exactly what is driving the Super Eagles when you are not talking about the defenders, because the defenders are in no-go area.
Elifemi, for what you just said now, Elifemi, if I can come to you now, a team that is yet to play a Kelechi Iheanacho, a Chukwueze, who I know is to be a fantastic winger as well. We yet to see Chukwueze, and we yet to see Terry Murphy. The guys are playing in France. Terry Murphy. So now, what kind of role do you still feel these three sets of players can play in that Super Eagles going forward?
No, what that tells you is that Nigeria is rich. We are rich in strikers, and look at our starting lineup. We've got three good guys up front, and we still got the bench. We have a solid bench that can compete against any team in this tournament. And most of these guys have not even played a minute, and they are ready to play at any point in time. I don't think Nigeria will need to extra time, but if we ever go into extra time, we've got the players that we can bring on bench that will come and contribute to the game and to the success in this tournament. I'm very, very sure of that Nigeria is on the path to victory here.
Now
I hope you can hear me.
You hope they can hear you. Now let's look at the South Africans now. Temba Zwane. He has been directly involved in 50% of the goals scored by the South Africans at this tournament. Now, how do you think the Super Eagles should handle this player, Wale?
Well, you see, Frank Oyeka is doing a great job in midfield. He's an engine powerhouse.
So
He's
far,
the
he has scored 2
midfield.
goals and he has 1 assist. And he might become the first South
Yes.
African player to score 3 goals in the championship. It's unprecedented if you can achieve that.
Well, you must not forget the fact that the Equatorial Guinea striker too was scoring goals like it was going out of fashion. So he had about 4 goals or something before he left the tournament.
5 goals. 5
Particularly.
goals.
Exactly. So he was there running
5
riot
goals. 5
against
goals.
exactly. He was there running riot against Cote d'Ivoire, against Guinea-Bissau and co. But he lost the penalty when it mattered most. In the second round against Guinea. And that was the turning point for his team. But that aside, the South African player is also proven to be a major force. But do not forget that our own Ademola Lookman too has got 2 goals.
He
Has
has
got
3
2
goals right
goals.
now. He has 3 goals
Oh, 3 goals.
scored in 2 games. Yeah.
Fantastic,
He has
scoring two
he has
goals
3
against
goals.
Cameroon, scoring two
Is
goals
that
against
goal?
Cameroon, and also scoring in the quarterfinals as well. So he has 3 goals as well. So you can see that if I mean for everything they have, we also have likewise in Ademola Lookman. So well, you see, there's no team that has made it to this semi-finals in this no grief for no grief for anybody AFCON that is a child. Yeah, there's nobody here who is
Say South
who is
Africa
here
have
to
scored goals this tournament.
exactly.
The
That's
South
where they
Africans, they won it. They won this tournament once in the past. That was in 1996 when Nigeria were not, represented due to political reasons. And I would
That's
say that decision, that decision actually affected the makeup of Super Eagles going forward. That inability to attend the 1996 Nations Cup, even though it was political, it actually affected the makeup of Super Eagles going forward. And but here we are today. It's going to be a big night. It is going to be a big night. In the next couple of minutes, it's going to be
Nigeria could
kickoff.
have won
And
it
I'm
in
sure right now,
'96. Anyway,
yeah, probably they could have won it in '96 because if you look at the quality of players coming up, after their performance in USA, that was after the World Cup in USA '94 and the Tunisia '94 where they
even
also won. So
we still had the team. We still had the team of '94.
yeah, so
And the
so now
'96 Olympics team. Yeah.
now let's move away from the Super Eagles game and the game between Super Eagles and South Africa. Let's talk about the other semi-final game that is scheduled for tonight. I'm talking about Cote d'Ivoire going up against
So have you seen
what's it called?
So now the line is out. Ladi,
I can hear you.
if
I can hear
I
you.
can read out the lineup with the Super Eagles lineup for tonight to you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Go ahead,
Goalkeeper,
please.
our goalkeeper is Stanley Nwabali. Yes, Stanley Nwabali. That's the goal. Olaino will be our right back. William Chon, center half. Semi Ajayi in the middle. Kalombase, left back. Bright Osai Samuel will play midfield. Frank Oyeka and Alex Iwobi midfield. Then the forward line is Moses Simon, Ademola Lookman, and Victor Osimhen.
Yeah,
That's the
it
lineup
was
play.
declared fit.
That's the start.
Osimhen was declared fit. I think the only change there
How do you
was
see
the
that?
one what Wale talked about Zaidu being dropped and Osai, coming into the team. It's almost the same squad that we've seen from the start of this championship up till this moment, except for the inclusion of Osai Samuel. So let's see the way
Yeah.
it goes. We wish them all the best, and we hope that they can get the job done tonight and let the better team carry the day. Let's talk about the second game that is scheduled for tonight. Cote d'Ivoire going up against DR Congo. Looking at the head-to-head between these two teams, talking about Cote d'Ivoire, DR Congo, and if you look at the head-to-head, then look at the fact that they are playing at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you think the Congolese will be able to survive that Ivorian bliss, or
Well,
do you think they will be
you see, the
overwhelmed?
Congolese. No, the Congolese are no stranger to atmospheres like this. Do not forget that
Mm-hmm.
even the Congolese themselves, that's the kind of atmosphere they provide when you go to their own ground. I mean, there has been sorry tales by opponents that have been to Congo, Zaire, Congo Brazzaville, or Congo Kinshasa. You understand about how they had blood smear on the walls of their dressing rooms, about how they had foul stench smells, foul smell oozing out of their dressing room, about how they kill some animals and spill their blood, everywhere, and you can't go through one entrance. You have to go through another entrance, and then they have to deal with the crowds, and all that. So that's not a stranger for to the Congolese, I must tell you. So whatever it is that they are going to witness today, whatever hostility, I can tell you it will not be their first time. But what we are really looking at is how fantastic the game is going to be tonight. There's going to be a Cote d'Ivoire team that is back from the dead. Cote d'Ivoire were virtually dead. After the 4-0
From dead,
spanking
yeah.
they received in the hands of Equatorial Guinea, they were virtually dead. But they had to rely on other countries to bring them back, particularly Morocco. They had to rely on other countries because all the results were going their way. I mean, one country was
Right.
finding a way to either beat another country or draw with another country that still kept Cote d'Ivoire into it until the very last day when Morocco, finally did in one of these other South African countries. So that is what we are talking about. And since that time, they have not looked back. They were down and out, and miraculously they came back in. And they spoke to themselves
Against
and said,
Senegal.
"Look, if we were down and now we have been given a lifeline, let us seize it." So the Ivorians are playing with all their lives. You can see that they don't mind being down to the very last minute, but somehow they will find their way back. It happened against the defending champions Senegal. It happened in the semi-finals against quarterfinals against Mali as well. So even
Mali.
DR Congo, when they score a goal or they go ahead, they must not lose sleep until they nail the Ivorians. One goal will not do. So my advice is for them to score two or more. But the downside of it is that DR Congo, just like their forefathers, they are always missing chances. They do not. They miss chances after chances, and you have also witnessed that in this tournament as well. So I don't know about their scoring capability, but then if they do not score, the Ivorians will surely score, even if at the last minute.
Now, Wale, I remember was it a week into this Nations Cup tournament? You dropped a post on Facebook where you wrote Nigeria Cote d'Ivoire final. You
That's right.
remember?
That's right.
Why were you so
Yeah, that's right.
why were you so optimistic then? Because it was just 1 week into the tournament.
Yes, exactly, because that's exactly what I've just said so far and all. The Ivorians, the moment they had the opportunity to come back, I knew they will not allow it sleep like that. They are playing in front of their fans, for Christ's sake. They've invested so much money hosting this tournament, and of course, a lot of money into preparation. So it's not time to let the fans down. You've let them down once,
Yeah.
don't let them down a second time. I mean, you also how disappointed the Ivorians were when they were defeated by 4 goals to nothing by Equatorial Guinea. They would not have minded being defeated by Nigeria, Senegal, Morocco, Ghana, or anybody, but Equatorial Guinea with that kind of scandalous result, oh my God! But then look at it as it is now. The Ivorians are in it, and they are not about to let go. And for the Super Eagles, you see one thing about the Super Eagles: once they do not start well, trust me, it's either until they get to the semi-finals or they get to the final, they will not stop. It happened the last time we won it in 2013 as well. We didn't start well during the Keshi era. Keshi was even almost sacked during the AFCON, just like the Ivorians sacked their own coach. But then we survived it, and starting with the Ivorian game, there was no looking back. So that's why I made both to make that prediction. And so far, it's looking like it's going to be what is going to happen at the end of the day.
Now the Ivorians, I know that they have a lot of impact players in that squad. Someone like Pepe, former Arsenal player, Frank Casey, that used to play for, I think he used to play for Barcelona before he left Spain. Now, what kind of impact do you think these guys can have on tonight's match? Anifemi, are you there? Anifemi.
Yeah, come again, Ladi.
Yeah, Pepe. We saw Pepe. We
Come
just
again,
caught a
Ladi.
glimpse of Pepe during this in this championship. We've not really seen him very well, the best of this guy. And I remember when he was still in France before coming to Arsenal, it was quite fantastic. Do you think he might have some bit of impact on tonight's game? Talking about the game between Cote d'Ivoire and DR Congo.
Yeah, you will expect that, Ladi, because he's a big player, right? And as long as this tournament keeps growing, these guys are growing in the tournament, and anything can happen in this semi-final. You know what I mean? So he's got the experience. He's been at the Nations Cup before, and this is a semi-final in front of their home fans. You don't expect anything less. They might come up with magic. This guy comes up with magic any point in time. So I will expect him to contribute immensely into this game tonight. Especially DR Congo is not a baby team that you can just rub off like that. They've scored goal in this tournament and they've been lucky as well to get to this stage of the tournament, but they're a dangerous side. But I expect the Ivorians to carry the day because they're playing in
Oh,
front of their
so
home fans.
for the fact that they are playing in front of their fans, you feel they should carry the day. But the fact that they don't have a technical depth, a technical bench that a quality technical bench, I would like to say, because we know that their foreign coach has been probably booted out, and now they have a local coach, an home-based coach, on the bench. Do you think that might have some
Well,
bit of impact? And if you look at the way this Congolese team are playing, they are fired up. They are actually motivated. They want to prove a point as well.
yeah, you are right, Ladi, but at the same time, we've had Steve Keshi in Nigeria before. He took us to the World Cup while the white man couldn't do it before him. So it's not all about color, right? It's what you know as a coach or the experience you have. Because you're a good player doesn't mean you might be a good manager. Manager is different from a coach. The one that left was a manager. This is a coach. He is in charge of the team now, and he's been lucky so far. So if the players are playing for him, they might still do that in this semi-final, which I expect them to do. So I
Okay,
expect
now
the
let's.
Ivorians to carry the day today. I'm not. I don't give. I'm not writing the DR for the Ivorians. They're playing in front of their crowd.
Nigeria Cote d'Ivoire final as well. Are you on the same page with Wale Opatola?
Mm-hmm.
Elifemi?
Yes, I am.
Elifemi, can you hear me?
I'm on the same page with Wale. Yes, I am.
Is that right there? So there you go. There you go. There you go, football fans. Elifemi and Wale are on the same page tonight. We're going to see a Nigerian Super Eagles going up against Cote d'Ivoire in the final. Hopefully that's what's going to happen. But you never can say never. This is football. It is not mathematics. Everything is possible on the night. Now, away from tonight's game, let's quickly tell you that the Egyptian FA have named veteran Osam Hassan as a new
This is
coach of the Powerhouse of Egypt. What kind of what's it called? What kind of impact do you think that is going to have on the Egyptian football going forward? Anifemi, are you with me? Anifemi apparently is not here with me. So let me just quickly tell you that critics have
Yeah, I can hear
cited
you,
his
Ladi.
fiery temper as reason for his previously failing to land the job, as he has had various disciplinary problems. Osam won numerous titles with Al Ali and Zamalek at international level. He won 3 Cup of Nations titles with Egypt and spearheaded the attack at the 1990 World Cup. He's Egypt's all-time leading scorer with 68 goals, 14 ahead of Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah. Elifemi, are you there? And let's quickly tell you that in athletics, Nigerian athlete Tobi Amusan has set a new African women's indoor
Yeah, I
record
can
in
hear you,
60
Ladi.
meters with a time in Boston. Amusan came second in Boston with America's Tia Jones finishing first in 7.72 seconds and Bahamas David Charlton finishing third in a time of 7:76 seconds. Amuson had on January 27th in our opening race of the new athletic season, beating 7.82 seconds African record, which was set by Gloria Alozie. Remember Gloria Alozie? I think she eventually dumped Nigeria for, was it Spain?
Spain.
Yeah, she actually dumped Nigeria for Spain. Talking boxing before we wrap up this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Britain Joshua Buatsi outspotted friend and rival Dan Aziz in a brilliant all-British light heavyweight encounter at the Wembley Stadium. It was a British Commonwealth title that was on the line, and Buatsi he floored Aziz twice in the 11th round, and before the judges called the fight 116-110 and 117-107. Unanimous decision for Boatsy over Aziz. Now, I know that a lot of Nigerians were at the stadium that night. I was unable to watch that fight live, but Ben Gray was there. Our friend Okon Austin was also there, and they thought Aziz would be able to get the job done on the night, but unfortunately, it was Boatsy, that secured the British and the Commonwealth title. What do you think this is going to affect, the development of Aziz going forward?
I think he's going to give him more. He's going to give him. He needs the experience, and he's going on now. Going forward, it's all positive anyway. So there's no negative in this. He's tried his best. If he doesn't win it, he's going to go for another one. There are challenges out there for him that needs to test himself. So it's all positive. It's going to be a positive for him. It's a positive.
Now, we heard that the fight between Usyk and Tyson Fury has been postponed because apparently Tyson Fury
He
suffered
got
a
injured.
head injury. He had a head injury. Now, who do you think that's going to favor? Is it going to favor Usyk or Tyson Fury?
No, I think there's a conspiracy going out there that Tyson Fury is not next, or that's a conspiracy going on there. But at the same time, the way people are calculating it, boxing analysts are calculating it, is if what's going to happen. You don't know when Tyson Fury is going to go back into training, or even go back into sparring. Not to talk of when the fight is going to come up. This might be the end of the dream between both of them, because Usyk might go ahead and fight someone else, and by the time Tyson Fury comes back, Fury might have lost. So that's what people are thinking.
So, in your own opinion, we might end up not being able to see that epic fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, you feel that we might not be able to see that fight between Usyk and Tyson Fury? We might not see the light of the day.
That's what people are saying now. We might not see it, might not come up, because you don't know when Tyson Fury is going to come back. It might be next year. It might be end of the year.
You're very correct. You are very correct. And now, if you can't fight Usyk, so which means we're not even sure we're going to see him step into the ring against Anthony Joshua.
No.
Because a lot of boxing fans are also waiting for that fight.
Yeah. But Anthony Joshua has got a long way to go to before he can, he's got fight in front of him, and he needs to clear those odds before he can go against Usyk. I mean, against Tyson Fury. And Fury is patching about, So I don't know. I don't think the fight is going to come up. It's going to be a lose-lose for all of them. A win for Tyson, if you say, he's calling the shot now. He's telling everybody what he wants. I want so million. I want this. When you meet the condition, he shipped the goalpost. When you meet the condition, he shipped the goalpost. So now it's like he's written off the fight.
Okay. Now, another big fight that's also been tipped that probably we might see in 2024 is Terence Crawford going up against Canelo Saul Alvarez. In my own opinion, I feel the weight disparity between these two guys is quite much. What's your take on this?
Boxing,
do you think we might end up seeing this kind of fight?
To be honest with you, I don't know. You see, boxing these days, right? Boxing as a sport, right, is becoming a laughing stock. Right? I heard this morning Tyson Fury's dad calling out Carl Frosch, a 59-year-old man, calling out a 11 times world champ, his challenge 11 champions. Carl Frosch, you're calling him out to go to
No, no, no.
Wembley. So it's
I
like they
think
just make, listen,
that is coming from the
whether
fact that
you say that is what
they're allowing YouTubers to come into the game.
that's what's happening.
They're
So
allowing
when you
Logan
see people
Paul and the
moving,
rest.
when you see people moving from one weight to another, right? It might look like a big weight, but that's what the sport is now. A 59-year-old man is challenging a 39-year-old guy. Say, hey, let's go to Wembley if you can pull the crowd. Let's go. No, boxing. That's what they're taking it to. Tyson Fury wants to fight a kickboxer. You know what I'm saying? Is that boxing? I think boxing is gone, man. And I'm losing interest in that sport, that boxing as a sport.
They're actually mixing it up.
Yeah, they're
But a
making
lot
it
of
up. Everybody's
but wait, Jennifer, a lot of people might disagree with you on that because they saw Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury,
that's what I'm saying.
and
If Francis Ngannou, if they want him to respect that sport, let him go and be a boxer. Call yourself a boxer. Just go into boxing. Not that you're a kickboxer and you want to come in. Okay, what would have happened if Ngannou had defeated Tyson Fury? That's the end of the sport. Yes. A non-boxer coming to defeat an heavyweight champion. It's never going to happen anyway. The judges are never going to make it happen because that's the sport's written off.
it
A
never
non-boxer coming to defeat a heavyweight champion.
it never did happen. That is how far we're going to go today, Eddie Femi. That
It
is
will
how far
never
we're going to go
happen.
today. I can see you're getting fired up. Don't worry, the Nations Cup will be over very soon. February 11th, the Nations Cup will be over. We'll be able to do our
Kick
thing,
off in
talk
3
about
minutes
different
time.
kind of sport. What do you
Up
say?
Eagles. Kick off
Yeah,
in three
well,
minutes time. Up Eagles.
the kickoff is in 3 minutes' time. You can hear that from Enifemi Afolabi.
Up
Wishing the
Eagles.
Super Eagles all the best. We are also wishing the South Africans all the best as well as the Ivorians and
I
the
don't wish all
Congolese
the
team.
best.
We're
Up
signing
Eagles.
out here today from myself, Ladi Egbedire, Wole Opatola, and Enifemi Afolabi. We say bye for now.
Peace.
Go out there and enjoy the game and have some fun. Cheers.